Howdy folks, this is part 3 of the Looking Back at Past Planes series. So after the Bixler I built a few more scratch builds and this was the first one. This is a 1.2 metre wingspan pure slope soarer. I happened to find some 4mm depron at the local hobby shop. So I wanted to build something nice and light out of that, and I thought I'd have a go at slope soaring. I'd seen some videos online and we seem to have a lot of wind here all the time, so I thought I might as well use the wind rather than try and fight it flying powered planes. So I sort of invented this using an arrow shaft. From my kite flying days I had quite a supply of these carbon fibre arrow shafts. And they're wrapped carbon fibre, so that's the carbon fibre cloth formed into a tube, which makes them really light and strong and resistant to splitting. And it's basically just a tube like Experimental Airlines designs. This is basically an arm and wing, just according to Ed's build techniques, only using depron, tape cover depron. Put a little bit of dihedral in the wing just because I had seen it on other planes and I thought maybe that will help. And this plane introduced me to slope soaring, and to this day it's my favourite discipline of flying radio controlled planes. I absolutely love it. We have lots of good slopes around this area, lots of wind, so lots of fun. This flew really well. I was absolutely amazed the first time it got up in the sky and actually stayed up there, and I've never looked back. So it's 3 years down the track and this glider still flies beautifully. Turned out to be really durable. Actually, I've repaired it quite a few times, but still an easy and durable and excellent little slope soarer. Very happy with it. After that, I built another Experimental Airlines design called the Synapse Wing. That was about a 1.4 metre wingspan, pure flying wing. And Ed from Experimental Airlines designed it as a motorised plane. I thought I'd try a pure slope soarer and have the battery mounted in the wing and no external fuselage and no motor. And again, that just sort of fed my passion for slope soaring. Then soon after that, with some birthday money or Christmas money or something like that, I suddenly had enough money to be able to buy another plane, and I saw the David Vinderstaal's episode on flight test on discus launch gliding, and I saw David Vinderstaal's own video on his YouTube channel where he puts cameras all over discus launch gliders, and I was just captivated from that moment and just knew I had to have a discus launch glider. So I bought the Hobby King Versus discus launch glider, 1.5 metre wingspan, for what was it, about $300 or something like that. And that was my first build video too, and that has been one of my most popular YouTube videos so far. So I used it hard, learned how to fly discus launch gliders, and this is what's left of it. The wing is still intact, and I've given that to a friend to put on his discus launch glider. First time I flew it on the maiden, I dropped my transmitter and the plane nosedived into the ground, cracked the fuselage. So I had some repairs to do straight away. Very, very steep learning curve. But I was hooked on discus launch gliders from that day, and I always want to have one in my collection. I don't fly them enough to justify buying a really expensive one, even though I'd love one. But so this one I bought for about $300. The V2 version I bought on sale for about $280. When they're not on sale, they're up around $500, and I don't think they're worth that much. They're the most expensive and the most finely engineered plane that I own, but there are better options around for the $500 mark. So if you can get these, the V2 or the Versus, for under $300, it's definitely worth it. Still have a lot of fun. I can only launch to about 30 metres, whereas the experts can get up to 60 metre launches or something like that. May have something to do with the quality of the Hobby King glider. It's probably got a lot more to do with my inability to launch it properly. Anyway, it's an ongoing passion, and as an entry-level discus launch glider, well worth it for under $300. If they're not on sale, look elsewhere. And also at the same time, I saw a video by a fellow called Steve Lang from California on the amazing Le Fish slope soarer. This is an aerobatic slope soarer designed for VTPR, which is a French term for aerobatics very close to the ground. Very much like 3D on the slope, I guess. And I'll put a link to David Winterstall's video and Steve Lang's video in the notes and have a look at them and see what the experts can do with these planes. I was pretty new to flying when I got this one. I did another build video on this too, and that's another very, very popular YouTube video. So these come as sort of raw cores, unshaped. The wings have been shaped, but the fuselage is just sort of square cut out foam, so you have to do a lot of shaping. You have to glue it all together, choose your own servos and make your own tail surfaces and everything as well. Initially I set it up with the Mad Stab, which is a full flying elevator which can rotate through 90 degrees up and down for ridiculous aerobatics on the slope. It makes them fairly hard to fly, so I've now reverted back to a more conventional elevator. Quite a lot of throws, but not quite the Mad Stab 90 degrees up and down deflection. Brilliant glider, taught me a lot about flying. I crashed it badly and I've had to repair it quite a lot. So I bought a couple more cores from Flying Foam, I think it was, and built another one. So this one's about I call this one a mid-weight build. It's about under 700 grams, good for all-round conditions, or everything except the lightest winds really. Can handle strong winds, no problems at all. So this is the lightweight build, and to make it lightweight, it's a slimmer fuselage, lighter servos, less spars. Initially I didn't have a spar down the tail boom, but I've since put that in because it really gets a bit too flexible. And the spars don't go out to the tips of the wings, so they're quite flexible. But it's so light, it's, what is it, around about 500 grams I suppose. Fantastic in light winds, recovers from stalls easily. This one has a more conventional depron elevator and uncovered depron tail, just to try and save a bit of weight. Brilliant, love both of them, and plenty of opportunity to fly them around here. If I don't fly the Le Fish for a while, it really does take a bit of getting back into it. I have to tone the throws right down, put in heaps of expo, because they are, the control surfaces are so big and it's so responsive, you can find it very difficult to fly without sort of keeping in practice. But pick it up again reasonably quickly, and you can do radical quick rolls, loops, tight loops. Apparently it's possible to knife edge them on the slope, but I really don't have the right sorts of slopes to be able to do that, I don't think. So the very tough EPP foam covered with iron-on document laminating film, called new stuff sometimes. You buy it in rolls from office supplies, and just tape hinges, plastic goldenrod, something like that, push rods. Wonderful plane, and I'm still learning how to fly them. I've got a long way to go, but I get a lot of exercise trying. So that's all for this episode. In the next episode I'll go through a lot more scratch builds. I was getting more successful building wings and scratch builds, slope soarers, beginners planes, start FPV, and then we get up to the Park Zone Radian and the Volantex Phoenix. See you then.